Hi there and welcome to another edition of What's the Word in association with Ladbrokes. Looking forward to another cracking weekend's racing. Right, in the panel this week you've got Shane Mann from our sponsors Ladbrokes. Brian Sheeran has stepped in once again. I think it's your debut. His debut here with us, isn't it?
Yeah. Done 2 Friday night lights, but this is the debut on What's the Word. So.
No, big step up,
Yeah.
You've earned it. You've earned it.
The pressure's on.
And of course Brendan Duke in as well. How are you, Brendan?
I'm very well, Tom, yourself?
Good stuff, good stuff. Right, looking forward to the weekend's racing action. Reminder as well about our comments competition, 100 quid free bet up for grabs, courtesy of Ladbrokes. Just give us a big prize winner over the course of the weekend. Well done to Connor Fenley as well. He picked the biggest prize winner last week, and that was Cartwright at 7-4. So just shows this isn't an easy game, isn't
Indeed it does,
exactly.
Tom. Very well said.
51 winners every week. But
very well said.
There we go. By the way, you don't know this, but I've devised a little personality test.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, there we go, for everyone. And the viewers can assess the outcome themselves. So, a couple of simple questions. I briefed you with one of them, so you can think about that. Okay, from the top, right? Cawdor or Denman?
Denman.
Cawdor or Denman?
Cawdor.
Cawdor or Denman?
Cawdor.
There you go. See the Stars or Frankel?
Oh, see the stars.
See the Stars or Frankel?
Franco, yeah.
Frankel.
There you go. And your favourite horse of all time, excluding those four?
And seen in the flesh. I'm thinking about this earlier on. Maybe for what he's done and the amount of prize money he's earned, maybe Q Card.
Q Card.
Really
Okay.
yeah.
See, it's a personality test. There you go.
Hurricane Fly.
Hurricane
Country
Fly.
Mile, yeah.
It's an interesting question. I always find with these questions, you're inclined to look at the horses when you were in your prime yourself. So from your own salad days, you think, oh, the horses were definitely better back then.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I do often find myself, well, probably my favourite horse ever is Hawkwing. Magnificent looking horse, and
it's a bit of a hipster choice as well, Brendan, if you don't want me saying so.
Is it? I mean,
think it is.
I don't think history has been kind to him, because obviously he failed as a stallion and what have you, and he had some desperate luck in his career. But
and he ran in a ridiculously hot kidneys that time.
ridiculously hot derby. I would urge anyone to go onto YouTube and watch him float down the hill at Epsom, a 9.9 for artistic impression. He didn't stay, but he had a lot of battle. He's a magnificent horse anyway. He's my favourite horse.
Okay, there you have it, and you can assess those results yourself. Let's move on to the Saturday action. We'll start with Ascot. It's a cracking card. Q Card obviously won this race last year, won it back in 2013 as well. The Grade 1 Ascot Betfair Chase. Shane, you have a couple of prices for
He's
us.
a much bigger price this time around, Tom. Top Notch currently the 7-4 favourite. Waiting patiently is in at 9-4. Coney Island 3-1. Q Card then 10-1. 10-1 for Fraudon. Sporadic 25-1. Traffic Fluid 66-1. Just briefly as well, a couple of Andy Post clues, possibly perhaps for the festival. We go 4-1 about the Ryanair, about Top Notch non-runner, and about 20-1 for the Queen Mother, about Top Notch as well. Waiting patiently 6-1 for the Ryanair, non-runner, no bet. Coney Island 10s for the Gold Cup, 8-1 for the Ryanair. Q Card 33s for the Gold Cup, 16s for the Ryanair. So plenty of Andy Post prices.
Cool. So Brendan, this close at Cheltenham, we're not expecting this quality of renewal of a Grade 1 race generally, are we?
God, I can just... It continues the theme of the last few weeks, Tom.
Yeah.
I'm really going to get behind this good horses running against other good horses.
It's a unique
trend.
idea, but it could catch on.
This could really catch on, yeah. I feel terrible now to just sit on the fence, but how could you possibly have a strong opinion on this race? There's £1 between them on ratings. Yeah. They're the 3 proper horses. I thought maybe at the price is just waiting patiently. You got to love waiting patiently. Yeah. It's arguable the race the last day in Kempton fell asunder a little bit, not as much as Coney Island's comeback fell asunder, but his jumping was a tiny bit careful, but I think he was entitled to be a tiny bit careful because it was his first time in that company.
Back in a while,
and in such exalted company. I think his jumping will improve and he'll go very close, but you could throw a blanket over these.
Yeah, absolutely. Brian, are you excited about this renewal?
Yeah, slightly surprised that Top Notch heads the betting for this one.
Yeah, I was a little bit too, to be honest.
Yeah, waiting patiently had the wow factor obviously the last day, but I don't know if it's Irish bias or not, but I'm just looking at Coney Island at 3-1 and I just think it's nearly too good to be true. Obviously he's weaking off all week, he was shorter, but I wouldn't go back on anything just yet for the Ryanair because obviously you don't know if Duvan is going to turn up or not, but yeah, Coney Island is just sticking out to me.
He's one of those horses that because we don't see him that much, do we perhaps think he's a little bit better than he is? Or although some of his form, like his last form last year is good.
Pretty top notch, isn't it? You know, after beating all the runs so close to our Duke, beating half length.
What about the trip? Do you think ultimately he's going to look for further than this?
Well, obviously, they sidestepped the Irish Gold Cup, something that reaped dividends. Obviously, they won that with Ed Wolf, obviously not trained by Eddie Harty, but you'd obviously imagine that he's going to be stepping towards the Ryanair if they're going over this. So
Good stuff. So tentative Coney Island selection.
yeah.
Do you have a selection, Shane?
Yeah, tentative waiting patiently selection for me, Tom. And I'd also wouldn't mind a bit of 6-1, a bit that for the Ryanair as well, non-runner, no bet before the race, because if he goes on and wins this comfortably, I'm not saying for a minute that he will, but if he was to go on and win comfortably enough, I can see that being an awful lot shorter come the end of the Ascot Chase. I think he's only been beaten twice over fences as well out of 8 starts. Mark of 164, winner by 8 lengths the last day, Kempton as well. And we spoke the last couple of weeks about was it the beer goggle story a few weeks back as well? Wouldn't this be an incredible story? It'd be lovely for Jefferson.
Obviously won the More Battle Hurdle as well during the week. So there wouldn't be a dry eye in the house, and quite rightly so. Let's move on to the Sodexo Reynolds Chase that's coming up at 150. You have a couple of prices for this as well, Shane?
Yeah, just the 4 of them in here. Black Horton 10-11, Miss Parfois 5-2, Met Muse 3-1, Crystal Lad 25-1. Just the one Andy Post clue here as well. Black Horton 14s. For the RSA at Ladbrokes and 16s for the 4-miler as well. So.
Okie doke, well, we rarely have a Saturday without a big briny frost winner, Brendan. Is Black Horton going to be another one in?
I don't think so. This Miss Parfois, it's an interesting race. There's no absolute guaranteed front runner, but I'd be surprised if she doesn't jump out in front. She's an electric jumper. Ascot's a really stiff jumping test. I think she'll jump out in front, and I don't think Black Horton will be quite up to giving her £7.
Okay, that's a fair enough assessment. Brian, your thoughts?
I've nothing too much to add on this race, only that I thought Black Horton should probably win it, and I don't think he's going to be a Cheltenham Festival live contender for the RSA anyway, with the likes of Presenter Percy we'll talk about later, and Monolith.
Yeah, you look at the likes of horses that won this, like the Burton Port, Carruthers, Alberta's Own, maybe in next year a horse.
I think this could be his race. I think he'll probably win it, but going
or
forward
this
towards
is his
Cheltenham,
Gold Cup.
but basically,
Yeah, fair enough. Let's move on to the Grand National Trial then at Haydock. Blackline, your friend Blackline, Shane. I remember you weren't too kind about
giving it a bit of grief, perhaps, shall we say,
anyway.
It's expected to go off short again here, Tom. 2-1 at the moment with Ladbrokes. The Dutchman 4-1, Three Faces West 5-1, Wild West Win 11-2, Mystery 10-1, Yala Enki 11-1, Silsal 12-1, Sir Mangan and 14s. 10-1 currently for the entry Grand National Blackline. The Dutchman is in at 33s, Three Faces West at 50s. That's for the entry renewal.
Good stuff. Brendan, he's plenty of weight here. Do you think this is a formality for Blackline? It's tricky. Like, he's given lots of weight away.
He's giving lots of weight away, but he does have a big class edge.
Yeah.
I mean, he's effective in the conditions. He's got that class edge. What's not to well, the price is what's not to like.
The price is probably
2-1. It just seems a little bit short. Maybe with the National in mind, they might have backed off him slightly. Mightn't just be 100% for this. And I thought that Wild West Wind was interesting. He fell in the Welsh National. Unfortunately, but he's normally a solid jumper, and the form of his previous win in Chepstow couldn't be working out better. I think I'd rather play him at 11-2 each way. Yeah,
Brian, your thoughts?
I don't think it's a betting race for me. Just Blackline is an awful lot of weight in the race. I couldn't be siding with him. Obviously, how do you think he'd get on in a Gold Cup if he was running obviously previous RSA winner?
Absolutely, he'd have an each way chance, wouldn't he?
Wouldn't he? I mean, it's a wide open Gold Cup.
Yeah.
They've stuck to their original plan with the Grand National, but
he's very similar to Definitely Red. He has a similar chance to him.
Shane, are you going to be with her against your friend Blackline?
Just say briefly as well, Tom, I actually hope he goes on and wins the Grand National, because I actually backed Nigel Twiston-Davis for a top trainer in the UK this season, so that obviously would add to his credentials for that. I'm going to side with Three Faces West here. He was a previous course winner as well, and I think the clue with this one is if he just goes out and tries to make all, it could be very hard to catch in the type of conditions it's expected to be at the weekend. And gets £17 as well from Blackline, and that type of ground is going to tell an awful lot come the final couple of fences and the latter stages of the race as well. So Three Faces West for me. Yeah,
and he had looked to be a decent jumper in the past. Right, let's move on to Goran. Unfortunately, at Goran for that Red Nose Chase upcoming at 2 o'clock, we don't have Tufan. It's still a decent field though. Shane, give us a clue about those prices.
Yeah, just the guide prices at the minute, Tom. Our Duke, we expect around about 11-8 territory about our Duke. Presenting Percy 2-1, Valserlido 5-1, Atois Phil 8s, and Ballycasey 12s. Just the 5 of them, sadly.
Again, a similar theme. Decent horses having a cut at each other, Brendan. Who do you like here?
Well, if Presenting Percy was the colour of 2-1, I'd be consulting.
Out the door. You're trying to keep
Well,
no.
I mean, it's very. Maybe he will be, but if he was anything like 2-1, I'd be consulting my mortgage advisor. I think he should be clear favourite, getting the £7. I think there's a case to be made for him being favourite if it was at off level weights. I think he'll cope better with the drop back and trip than our Duke. He's in better form. I think he'll take all the beating.
Brian, do you see anyone beyond Presenting Percy or our Duke? Or?
Yeah, well, this is what my weekend revolves around. This race, I'm just so excited for it. But there's just one thing in my mind: with all these stairs in it back over 2.5 miles, could it play into something like a Tough Hill, springing a bit of a surprise, or do you think he's totally outclassed? Yeah.
No, not totally outclassed. I mean, he's 156 rated horse. I'm not sure he's quite worth 156. He's to give £5 to Presenting Percy. Do you think he's up to that?
Probably not. No, to be honest with you, I think Presenting Percy is the one I have him on my mind for the RSA. I know beating Monolith is going to be difficult, but he's already stepped out of novice company, winning the Porterstown on the
top weights. Absolutely, it was a 145, and he won half the track.
I think these guys know what they're doing. It was between this and the Bobby Joe. They've decided to come here. The ground, he obviously showed he could handle that heavy ground in the Galmoy at Goran here recently. So, yeah, I just think the mall having to give him weight is going to be very difficult. I think he's solid bet. Sure. If you get 2-1, I'd agree with Brendan. Yeah.
Okie doke. Presenting Percy at 2-1. The chain is absolutely not going to guarantee to give them. Anything else?
Guide prices. I did say guide prices.
Guide prices. Okie doke. Anything else on Saturday? Stand out for you on the cards there, Brendan.
Just won the 2:45 in Wincanton, the Kingwell Hurdle. I was a little surprised that Chittabello wasn't clear favourite. There seems to be a lot of love in the betting world for this Call Me Lord, who was impressive, but in a handicap, and it's a step up against Chittabello.
Chittabello's a solid sort, isn't it?
Very solid sort. The new one, it's hard to get past the new one, but that's really good form, and I think Wincanton will play to his strengths. It's a speed favouring track. So.
Absolutely, yeah. Brian, anything else for you on the weekend Saturday card first?
Yeah, well, the whole card is very interesting down at Goran Park. You've got Up for a View coming back. He's a 9-year-old now, but Danny Mullen's obviously taking the ride. He's been out injured, so might be a winner back for him in the first race, the beginner's chase. Also, Bissiel coming back after over, I think it's 1,000 days off the track.
It feels like 1,000 years, go on.
In the Red Mills trial. Didn't he came there looking to win the race back when Kitten Rock won it a few years back. So Bissiel, maybe not today, but he's an interesting one. You have to go back to
the archive to go through that one.
Yeah. I think at the races mightn't even have...
Paul Carberry and Tony McCoy were still riding when the last time he rode.
Yeah, but just a quick mention for Graney Hill. I know he's come up a lot in the handicap, but in that 420, I think he'll take a lot of beating.
Shane, anything else on Saturday card for you?
Nothing for me, Tom. No.
Good stuff. Right, let's move on to Sunday. We'll be at Navan on Sunday. Unfortunately, we don't have the, imminent Lord Mayor of Navan, David Jennings, here to chat about these. But the Boyne Hurdle, the Ladbrokes Boyne Hurdle, a Grade 2 contest. Papone's about £5 well in. Do you have an idea of prices for that, Shane?
Yes, some more tissue prices here, Tom, for the Ladbrokes Ireland Boyne Hurdle at Navan. Just the four of them, Diamond Course Show, around about 10 to 11, we think will go off. Papone 13 to white, Lieutenant Colonel 7s, Maggio 20s.
Can you see past Papone here, Brendan?
No, again, I would be disagreeing with those prices. I'd be surprised if he isn't favourite. I thought the 2 mile 5 might be his optimum trip as well. He ran very well as the forms worked out behind Apple's Jaden Super Sunday over 3 miles in Leopardstown at Christmas. Travelled particularly well. Maybe just the stamina gave out. He was well beaten in the Irish Champion Hurdle, but I'd give him a pass on that.
I think that's fair enough, yeah.
He's clearly the best horse in this race. Probably his optimum trip. I thought he was entitled to be fav.
Yeah, so Papone for you?
Yeah.
Brian?
Diamond Cushaw. Yeah, I'm going to go against you, Brendan. I just think he loves this soft ground. He ran a credible race in the Galmoy back in third, so yeah, Diamond Cushaw.
So you're kind of using the same form line for all the weekend.
Yeah. It's a very good Galmoy this year.
Okay, look, the 10 up then at Navan coming up at 4 o'clock. Shane, do you have a couple of guide prices to get for that?
Over 3 miles here, Tom, the 10 up novices chase. Just the 5 of them to take their chance. Mob Notorious 2 to 1, Moss back 3 to 1, Mulan Avant 7 to 2, Jury Duty 9 to 2, Sagers 8.
Again, you're kind of looking at this is one of these races where it's kind of bizarrely it's just a good bit of plotting here, isn't it, for the connections of Monbeg Notorious that he's able to get it or be £8 well in against a few of these, isn't it?
Yes, I mean this is very interesting because of course he gets that mark in a handicap which the others haven't had the chance to. So he was off 137. I suppose you could argue that Jury Duty or Moulin Avant, you would hope that they go close off 137 in the Tyre Estates too, but Jury Duty, I'm not sure he quite sees out 3 miles on winter ground. Moulin Avant, that was a funny race the last day.
There's a weird weight reversal between the two of them as well.
Yeah, I'm just not sure that Jury Duty stayed, and Moulin Avant will have to jump better. I thought this was a good spot for Mombag Notorious. He's a good jumper. He's a very strong stayer, and I thought that'd be enough. Yeah,
and to win a big handicap chase like that, generally have to be borderline graded class anyway, don't they?
I think he's a worthy fact.
So that race at Nice as well, wasn't he near enough joint last or nearly last, jumping the last fence, Moulin Avant, and went on to win it? I mean, the race really did fall apart.
Yeah, it was a very strange race. Mombag Notorious, are you with or against him, Brian?
I'm with him, yeah. I think this is his bread and butter, heavy ground, winter races, and I think he'll take a lot of beating. Yeah.
Anything else on the Sunday cards for you guys?
325 Drumconnor Lad looks a really good spot from forerunner race. Gets away from Gordon's, and he's run creditably in 2 better novice chases. I thought he'd win, won't be much of a price, but
good stuff. Brian,
I'm going to put up the 13-year-old De Benno in the opportunity handicap hurdle in the 255. He's some 28 pounds lower over hurdles, so I think he's at the right end of the handicap.
Okay, that's an opportunity. Shane, anything on Sunday jumping out at you?
No, I'd just be all over Bapom. Should he go off at 13 to 8? More than likely not, but we'll see.
Okie doke. And just looking at the weekend, do you think we will get some anti-post clues this weekend? Or significant movers, perhaps?
Oh, certainly for the Ryanair.
Yeah.
This could really sort things out for the Ryanair. There's also in Haydock, there's an Albert Bartlett trial.
Yes, an Albert Bartlett trial.
Yeah, this is probably, well, the Adonis is on next week, but we're getting...
That's just for the 4-year-olds. That's only for weirdos like me and you to actually look at flat horses as well, Brendan.
True. But we should get something sorted out this weekend.
Okie doke. Anything going to stand out for you? Did you think there'd be anything from an anti-post point of view that might be significant?
Well, it's a hugely significant weekend for our Duke, isn't it? If he doesn't perform well, there's a possibility that he could go back into the Irish National and skip the Gold Cup altogether.
Yeah.
So
in the mid 160s, it'd be a bit of an ask, considering what he won off 152 last year. So he'd be
was it even higher than that? Yeah, but look at.
Well, he would have
his owner is not too enamoured about Cheltenham. He doesn't see the be all and end all of being Cheltenham. He's a rarity in this day and age. But when you've got a 500 grand race on your doorstep, I know he's going to have to carry a lot of weight. But if he doesn't run up to Gold Cup level and win maybe this weekend, I think they could end up going back to Fairyhouse, which would be fantastic for Fairyhouse.
Boom for Fairyhouse, absolutely. Well, we will have the guys' best bets shortly. Just a reminder again about that Commons competition, of course, the biggest prize winner over the course of the weekend. You get yourself £100 free bet courtesy of Ladbrokes. Ladbrokes as well, of course, they got best odds guaranteed on multiples in shots between 11 and 1. So the guys are going to give us their best bets of the weekend and also some multiples too. So go on, Shane, we'll start with you. Best bet and give us a treble as well.
Best bet for me, Tom, is going to be, I was going to say Waiting Patiently. I'm not going to say Waiting Patiently. I'm going to go with 3 Faces West in the Grand National Trial as my best bet of the weekend. I'm going to put into a treble along with Waiting Patiently in the Ascot Chase, and I'd like to think Black Horton will win the Randallstown Chase as well.
Hates Blackline.
Avoid at all costs.
Your thoughts, Brian? Your best bet on that?
Presenting Percy is the best bet. I'm going to put him in the multiple with Graney Hill and Coney Island.
Very good. Brendan, best bet. What are you going? Are you going to Trixie again this week?
I'm going to go for a treble because they're quite short.
Okay.
But I'm going to make Miss Parfois my nap in the 150 in Ascot, and I'm going to treble her up with the 245 Wincanton, Chittabello, and the 2 o'clock in Goran, Presenting Percy.
Good stuff. I'm just going for a treble. Haydock 240 going with Markov, Lingfield the 145 going with Completion, and at Ascot Black Horton in the 150. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll be back again next week for more What's the Word.